But first up, he is the editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks, who comes to us from the Ecuadorian embassy in London, Julian Assange. Julian, great.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing, Julian? Great to see you again. I know there's going to be a bit of a delay, like in your life. But you're back in the news, of course, because WikiLeaks released thousands and thousands of emails from the Democratic National Committee right before the Democratic Convention. And you, of course, in the past have released lots of documents from governments. But people questioned whether this was fair game because the Democratic National Committee is not a government, it's private, and some of the donors had their Social Security numbers and credit card numbers released. Do you think this is fair game?
Well, it was definitely good fun. Fair game. Well, we did the same thing to Senator Norm Coleman's campaign, a Republican senator back in 2009. The Turkish political party AKP just the other week, a neo-Nazi party here in the UK a few years ago. Can't remember the name of it. Irritating party. British National Party. So, no, I think I'm super happy with how that's gone. We've had 4 people in the DNC resign. W. Wasserman Schultz, the head, the chief financial officer, the communications director, Louis Miranda, etc. And that shows a kind of instant accountability, perhaps not proper political accountability for a really quite concerted effort through the chain of command at the DNC to make sure that Bernie Sanders didn't win, including by pumping out black PR.
Well, I don't know if that's really true. I mean, I read those emails. There was no smoking gun.
I do. I know that it's true.
Well,
I know that it's true.
Okay.
Communications Director Louis Miranda, who has resigned just 3 days ago, instructed his staff, an instruction, not a discussion, an instruction to pump out, quote, in an unattributable manner, statements and an article saying that Bernie Sanders supporters were engaged in acts of violence. So this is the DNC demonizing in a covert manner through its chain of command to the press and its favored press contacts, a Democrat, saying that a Democrat was conducting violence when you have the same allegations against the Trump campaign, thereby watering down the critique against the Trump campaign and, of course, pumping up that.
Why haven't we seen anything hacked from the Trump campaign? I mean, obviously we know these came from Russia, and we also know that you do not like Hillary Clinton at all, as does not Vladimir Putin. So it looks like you are working with a bad actor, Russia, to put your thumb on the scale and basically fuck with the one person who stands in the way of us being ruled by Donald Trump.
Actually, just before I came in here, we thought we'd do a little search on our files, and I do notice that a William Mayer gave a Clinton-affiliated entity $1 million. Now, it's a William Mayer in LA, where at the time that money came. Perhaps you would like to comment. Is that you?
Yeah. I don't think you have to look in your files to find that, Julian. I gave Obama $1 million. I made it public. The whole point of it was to make it public so that people in 2012 would understand that the game had moved to the $1 million level after our Citizens United ruling. I wasn't trying to hide it. I was trying to publicize it. I don't know what the point is.
Is there another $1 million going to Hillary or equivalent?
Fuck no. But no. I can't give $1 million every time somebody runs for president. But okay.
I don't know. 2008, I could understand. 2012, I'm not so sure about that. But okay, let's tackle these criticisms. We did not publish full credit card numbers about donors. It's the last 4 digits, just like your 7-Eleven receipt. It's very important for tracking money laundering, and there are serious allegations of money laundering and FEC violations in the data released. Our materials, the materials that we release, are pristine. We're really good at this. We have a 10-year perfect record of having never got it wrong in relation to the integrity of what we've released. There's no allegation, even from Debbie Wasserman Schultz or any of these people, that any of the material is not completely valid and true. What there is a conflation between our publications, DNC leaks, and an extensive variety of hacks of the DNC and, frankly, other organizations over the last 2 years, possibly by state actors. That wouldn't be at all surprising, but also a number of others. DNI Clapper, the head of all US intelligence agencies, James Clapper, said last Friday that the media was hyperventilating. They couldn't make an attribution, let alone as to motivation. And even that was just about the hacks. It's not about the material we released. But we know the source of the material, right? Everyone knows the source of what we published. The source is the Democratic Party. The source is Louis Miranda, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
I know you defended atheists, but included in there by the discussion with Louis Miranda is a plot to frame Bernie Sanders as being an atheist and not as being Jewish.
First of all, it wasn't a plot. Somebody mentioned it, and nobody did anything about it. Let's move on to the other part.
We don't know whether people did anything about it or not. What we know was a discussion.
Okay, you've worn me down on this issue.
We can separate it a little bit. We can separate a little bit of other case that I mentioned before, where Louis Miranda gave an instruction to staff to pump out black propaganda against Bernie Sanders.
All right. So why don't you hack into Donald Trump's tax returns?
Well, we're working on it.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's interesting because Edward Snowden criticized you. I mean, his tweet was democratizing information has never been more vital, and WikiLeaks has helped. And by the way, I would agree with that. I'm all for you getting the Nobel Prize, which you have been nominated for 6 times. Welcome to the club with the nominations. But he said, but their hostility to
that won't happen either.
But their hostility to even modest curation is a mistake. Does he have a point? I mean, I think you and Edward Snowden are lumped together a lot, but it seems like what his thing is about privacy. And what your thing is about is transparency. And privacy and transparency are kind of at loggerheads, are they not?
They are a little bit, that's true. I suppose, well, he doesn't really know the definition of curation. So curation is not censorship of the ruling political party's cash flows. I have to make a little bit of a complaint here, although I shouldn't really go there. You know, Edward Snowden hasn't published anything in 3 years. He did one thing. It was a very important thing. And it was, in fact, so important that I and this organization saved his ass by rescuing him from Hong Kong, getting him asylum, making 23 asylum applications, and setting up his defense fund, the Courage Foundation, which I'm a trustee of today. So, okay, I know Edward is trying to get a pardon at the end of the Obama presidency. And so he's playing that game. I understand he's in a very serious situation. If you look at Chelsea Manning, one of my alleged sources, sentenced to 35 years in prison. Hillary Clinton's spokesperson resigned because he was also being tortured in prison. A formal finding by the UN. There's a serious fate awaits Edward Snowden in the United States. And Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump said that he would execute him. Hillary Clinton said, of course, that she would aggressively prosecute. So you have really, from the perspective of WikiLeaks, trying to protect its sources, you have really 2 very bad presidential candidates.
Well, we could go all night arguing about that, but we don't have time. I would just say, in response to what you said about Mr. Snowden, I know you can get into everybody's computer. I don't know if you can get into Edward Snowden's mind. But nevertheless, I'm with you, brother. You seem like you're in a better state of mind than the last time I talked to you, and I hope you get out soon. Thank you very much. Julian.
I like having a fight.